Welcome to the Massage Life Podcast. My name is Jordan Pearson. I'm a CPA, and I'm here with my wonderful wife, Melissa, who is a registered massage therapist and the most amazing person in the whole world. And tonight we're talking about, what are we talking about tonight? I don't know why we're talking about anything tonight, because it's like 10:15 and we should probably go to bed, but whatever.
We always record these podcasts in the middle of the night. It's fun.
It is fun.
So today we're going to talk about hiring a practitioner.
Yeah, so this, you've been on a bit of a journey the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That sounds very hippie. You've been on a journey.
A journey to find myself.
Yeah, so you've been working by yourself for quite a few years. When did you start?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
No, 3.
3?
This fall it'll be 3.
I mean, I ask these questions like I have, like I've just met you for the first time. How long have you been working as a massage therapist? Wow, that's crazy. I have a terrible memory, as you know, and so just space and time is just non-existent to me. I'm just like, oh, wow, 3 years? That's insane. How old am I again?
Where am I?
Where am I? That is crazy, though. 3 years.
3 years I've been doing mobile. Obviously, I've been a massage therapist for many moons now. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I was really excited to just branch off on my own, work for myself, love that. And I've been really hesitant to hire someone else. And
How come?
Just because I like doing my own thing. I don't want to be like responsible for anyone else. I just...
Hopefully Heather doesn't listen to this and she's like, Melissa hates me.
No. I'm actually getting really excited about it, right? Like just maybe 6 months ago, I was like, no way, there's no way I would hire anyone. But it's reached a point where I kind of have to, because I've gotten so busy. I stopped taking new clients. I'm turning people away left, right, and center. And
you increased your prices to try and like slow demand, and it's just...
Yeah, I sent out an email saying, hey, I'm increasing my prices soon. And then I got like 10 bookings like within an hour of sending out that email. I was like, what is wrong with you people?
For massages post price increase. It wasn't like people trying to get in before the
ahead
price.
of time. No, I was booked up.
They couldn't.
Much. Yeah, they couldn't get in. It was like, no, you have to book in after a price increase.
Yeah, so they're like, cool, thanks for the reminder.
Cool.
I think I'll book 10 massages.
Like, I don't care about the price. Yeah. And so, because those were kind of my 2 options. I was like, okay, I'm so busy. Either I need to charge more or I need to hire someone. And I was like,
Let's do both.
Yeah. Well, I was like, maybe I should do one or the other. And I was like, screw it. I'll just do both. Like, what do I have to lose here? Nothing. I mean,
right.
I guess I could lose all my clients, but I don't think I will. I'm confident enough with what I've built that I don't think I will lose people.
Right.
Like, sure, I will maybe lose 1 or 2 people from the price increase. I get it.
Yeah,
like,
that happens.
Money's tight right now for a lot of people.
I have no money.
Well, good thing you get free massages.
I just quit my job. That's a whole nother story.
Save that for next time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I was okay to take that risk. And looking for a new practitioner, it wasn't like going to be, you know, a full-time person that's going to like be taking all of my clients, like just someone to fill in here and there to like take a few people.
Right.
And so I warmed up to the idea and I was like, I'll put an ad out there and I'll just see what happens. I knew that I wanted to be really particular about who I hired and didn't want to just hire some random person. Like, I wanted to be picky because I care about my clients and I want to put them in good hands, right?
We don't care about random people, is what you're saying.
No. I
know what you mean, yes.
Yeah, so my first step was to put out an ad. Like I said, I'll just put out an ad and see what happens. Now, it's really unique with mobile because I actually was thinking that no one would be interested. I thought, well...
That's what I thought, too.
I thought...
Why would anyone do this?
Yeah, I was like, well, if I'm not providing much because I don't have a physical space, and because our contractor, they usually provide all their own supplies, right? So it's like, you're going to have to provide your own vehicle, your own table, your own linens, basically everything.
Right.
It's like, why don't you just do it on your own then? Like, why would anyone want to partner with me? It makes no sense. But I thought more about it. I was like, when I first finished school, like, I didn't want to work by myself. I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to work for someone else. And so, yes, like a practitioner working for another mobile therapist, they're going to have to provide a lot, but like, I'm going to take care of the most annoying parts, which is the booking, the billing, and the advertising.
Right, and you have a reputation in Chestermere as a therapist that a lot of people love and respect, and so you're bringing that to the table as well.
I've brought this established clientele.
Right, you have people calling you, and you're turning them away, right? And so
Right. So
Yeah.
someone else is going to have to start if they want to start on their own, they can, but they're going to have to start that from scratch.
Right.
And like it's taken me time to reach this point. When I first started, I was delivering flyers door to door, like putting up ads at the library.
Right.
Like I was giving away massages for free. Like I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff just to try to
You gave them massages away
like
for free?
I gave away some gift certificates. I did do a deal once where it was like half off. It was when I was practicing for 6 months, and I did half off massages for my half birthday for 1 week.
Right.
Like just
Where was
anything
I when you were giving all these free massages away? How come I never got in on that
I
action?
gave you a coupon for Father's Day one
calm
time.
down.
I think I made them expire. I was like, this is valid for 1 hour.
Remember that one coupon you gave me, and it was like, you can sleep in on like any day. I was like, I should cash this in on Mother's Day.
Did you?
No, I was tempted. I was like, Happy Mother's Day, I'm cashing this in.
Yeah, because I think I did put in the fine print, like, you can redeem this any day you want. Like, make me get up early on Mother's Day, make my own breakfast, take care of the kids.
Good luck.
Yes.
So, how did you
Anyways.
guys end up divorced? Well, let me tell you about this coupon.
Like, document it for, like,
Yeah.
the divorce documents.
The evidence. Oh, okay, we're off the rails. We have no air conditioning, and it's like 1,000 degrees in our house. Okay,
Yeah, this is
continue.
true. Okay, so I thought, I'll put the ad out there, see what happens. And yeah.
Maybe we should back up. Hold on.
Okay.
So, why are we talking about this? Because we're just talking about ourselves. We're just talking about you.
What else am I supposed to talk about?
Yeah. So
What's the point of this?
What's the point of this?
Okay.
Why do we want people to listen
It's
to this
pretty-
episode? I mean, we're quite a few minutes in already. I'm sure we've lost a few people.
Oh, I think it's interesting. I like learning about other people's practices.
Right.
And it's pretty niche, right? I'm already kind of niche because I just do mobile, and then hiring someone under you, that's pretty specific. But I guess two reasons why I want to talk about. Maybe there are other people in this situation, and so that's great. And also, I think it's just, I guess, encouragement to people that, like, you can reach this point too. If you had told me when I first started that at this point I would be hiring people and increasing my fees and, like, doing all this stuff, I would have
Right.
laughed. I've been like, yeah, right. Like, that's not going to happen.
You're crazy.
Yeah, crazy. And so it's just an encouragement that, like, you can reach this point too. It will take a lot of work, but you can do this as well.
Right.
And I know we've talked about it on other podcast episodes, but we are working on a course on, like, starting a home-based practice, which also includes mobile or working from your home. And so we're going to cover a lot of things on how you can do this too.
Right.
It's not impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of as an extension to that. So it's been interesting over the last couple weeks. There's all of these things that you have to do to onboard this person, right? To get them set up in Jane. You need to rebrand because all of your website and everything was just under your personal name, right?
Yeah,
And so now
so-
you've registered a trade name and you're operating under a different business name. And well, now we had to purchase the domain, like a new domain name for your website. And I spent the last 2 hours just trying to figure out how to transfer that to your email so that you were still getting emails under this new domain name. And it's just like all these different things, right? And so there's just so much that goes into changes like this. And we're not really covering these kind of, we don't cover this stuff in this course that we have planned, right? Like,
No, not
on this-
hiring someone.
Right.
No, maybe there's another course idea
yeah,
for in the
it's
future.
just like so many different course ideas.
No, but yeah, I kind of wanted to break down, like, the steps that you'll have to consider when onboarding someone.
Right, things you need to know.
Yeah. And even the things that we're going to review are also things that you just have to do if you change your branding.
Right.
So that's kind of been the biggest hurdle that I've had to figure out the last, like, 2 weeks is, yeah, like you mentioned, I just work under my own name. We talk about choosing a trade name in a previous podcast episode, like episode 2 or 3 or something, early on. And in that one I mentioned, like, I just work under my own name, mostly because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just work under my name. And I wanted my brand to be me, right? I just wanted it to be easily recognizable. You know, on a social media post, right away they see my name instead of some clinic name and they're unsure who it is. And so
Right.
that's why I chose it that
Right.
way. But now I'm kind of regretting it because having someone under me, I thought, well, that's going to be confusing if they go to melissapearsonrmt.com and then it's like, oh, there's other people here. Like,
Right.
I need
Right.
I need a name now. I need a
Right.
business name.
Yeah.
And so first I had to think of what type of a business name I wanted.
I think you made, just back up, I think you made the right choice to operate under your own name.
I agree.
Early on.
I agree.
It
I
made
think
sense.
It did make sense. And I think it allowed me to build up my practice quickly because it was just like, this is me. This is my practice. easy.
Yeah.
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 So you're right. I guess I don't regret it. I'm just feeling annoyed right now because there's so many things to change.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just going to briefly go over them. You already mentioned a lot of them, but yeah, I guess, yeah. So yeah, first was registering a trade name.
Right.
And to do that, yeah, you just have to go to your registry and
Yeah, it's
register a
really
trade
not
name.
that hard.
It's not that hard. That's an easy step.
Well, how many pages is it? 2 page? Like a 2-page
No,
form?
it's literally 1 page.
Okay, so it's a 1-page form. You can fill it out beforehand, or if you're lazy, you don't even need to fill it out
You just show
beforehand.
up,
You just
yeah.
show
It's
up and you're
really
like, hey, I
fast.
want to register this trade name. I'm operating as a sole proprietor. Okay, what's your name, right? And then you just fill out this form. It's super easy.
Yeah.
And then it's what, $50 to register a trade
I have
name?
no idea. I think so.
Yeah, I think it's
Somewhere
about
around there.
$50. It's not that expensive,
Yeah.
right?
So that was kind of like step number 1. And then from there, it's updating my website. I guess that's been kind of a pain.
Yeah, and you've done most of that already.
Yeah, I've done most of it. And I guess it wasn't too much. Mostly, it's a lot of my language. I say a lot of I. Like, I will arrive at your home 5 to 10 minutes early. Like,
Right.
I'm whatever. So now I have to change all the wording to we. And then just, like, add the other practitioner's profile.
Right.
And just information like that. So that hasn't been too bad. But then it's, like, changing the domain name and changing the email. The email's been the most annoying. That was what you were working on this
Yeah,
evening.
it actually wasn't that hard.
Oh, okay.
So you know how you go down this you go down this rabbit hole and you Google, okay, I have a new domain name and I want to start receiving emails to that new domain name, right? And so there's just like all these videos and posts and like, okay, well, you need to make sure you do this and be careful about, switching it to the primary domain right away because you might screw up your email. And so I was scared to do something that was going to mess up your email.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to lose any emails. I didn't want you to be cut off from your email.
Yeah.
Right? Because, clients are trying to email you and they can't get a hold of you, right? Just didn't want to, I didn't want it to blow up in my face. And so, anyways, that just kind of like a side note. That's one of the nice things about a lot of the courses that we have. Like I just think about my GST course. Like if you Google like GST help, there are a million different things, resources out there, and you can kind of get like bogged down in all of the information that's available. And so, but if there's just like one course that's been designed specifically for registered massage therapists, it's like just go there. It's like this is going to tell you everything that you need to know, right? Because there's so many things that like your business is so small, it's just you, right? There's a lot of things that I think you need to worry about if you're a much bigger organization when you're making all of these transitions, like email transitions, domain name transitions. Like I'm not probably even using the right words, but whatever. And so I was really nervous and scared, and so I ended up doing it one way. I initially set up your domain as a secondary domain, but then I couldn't figure out how to have emails sent to that domain so that it would still come into your existing folder. And so I had to set it up as an alias, and then I had to like link that to our website. And so I was able to get it set up so that emails would still come to that new email address, like the new domain that I set up. But it was confusing because then I couldn't, like it was just an alias. And so you couldn't actually email from that new domain. Right. And so I had to set it up as the primary domain. And so that was the one thing that everyone was saying, oh, be careful when you do this because it might blow up, the universe might explode if you do this.
The world will.
Yeah, it's like a black hole opens and everything just disappears, right? And so, but I just did it and everything seems to be working fine, right? So your email is all set up. Your website is all set up. The new domain name is the primary domain. Everything's working great. So I can send emails to your old email and your existing email and it still comes into the one inbox.
Yeah, that's nice to have like an overlap.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so yeah, the other thing we had to change was a lot of stuff in Jane. So Jane's my booking and billing
Hopefully
software.
it doesn't bore people to death. They're always talking about
Like, yeah,
secondary
cool.
domain and primary domain and alias and so.
Who knows? You just have your nerdy little rant here.
Right.
Yeah, so in Jane, I had to, add a practitioner, add her profile, add all her information in there, like open up her schedule. So a few things to add in there, but Jane's really user friendly, so that was really not too difficult. Just like time consuming. Nothing was confusing about it, which was nice.
Right.
And then now I'm working on the insurance companies because I do a lot of direct billing. And so just adding a practitioner under me, it's difficult with some of the portals because when I registered so when you register for direct billing with these portals, it asks you, are you like a sole practitioner? Like, is it just you or are you a clinic? And so at the time, of course, I just answered, yeah, it's just me. And so a lot of them don't have the capacity for me to add a practitioner. So a lot of them I have to call, which is the worst.
Right.
They put you on hold for hours. So that will
hopefully
be fun.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, most of about half of them I was able to either do it on my own or like I can communicate over email with them. So
could you have set yourself up as a clinic initially?
yeah, so I know on Tele-C claims it says to click the clinic option even if you're just working by yourself right now, but you may add practitioners in the future.
Right.
So I guess my advice would be just like pick that one no matter what.
Right.
Just do it, and then like whip-de-doo if you don't ever add anyone. They're not going to come and like knock on your door and be like, why did you do that? Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
that's smart.
yeah, just set it up that way from the get-go in the hopes that one day you can hire someone.
Right. It reminds me of, hopefully this is still true, but when I worked at the bank and I would set up RESPs for clients, I remember at the time, and I'm sure this is still true, you had the option to pick between a family plan and an individual plan. And so say you had one child and you set up an RSP for that child, any contributions that you made to the RSP and then any subsequent like grant money that you would receive from the government, if you set up an individual plan, the grant money had to go to that one individual, that one kid. But if you set up a family plan, then if child A decides not to go to university, well, the grant money that came in for child A, you could transfer that to child B.
Right.
Right? And so it makes sense. Like I'd always tell people, you know, even if they only had one kid, just set up a family plan, right? That way if, you know, child A, for whatever reason, isn't able to go to university, you don't lose the grant money. You can transfer it over to this other kid.
Right.
Right? Same idea
Even if you
with
don't
this.
have another kid, you may have another kid.
Yeah, you may have another kid, right? Or you
Don't
just
mess it
don't
up.
know, right? Like if you have the kid that doesn't go to university or whatever, and that's fine, right? You don't want to lose out on that grant money because you'd have to give it back,
Right.
right? And so same idea with this.
Yeah, it's like
Just set yourself up as a clinic,
yeah.
even if it's just you,
yeah.
right? Because you never know what's going to happen, right? And I don't know if you even had that on your radar when you started 3 years ago.
No, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you had told me this forever ago, I would have
Yeah.
been like, "Pfft, yeah, right.
Why would I do that?
Why would I? That's crazy.
Yeah, now here you are having to make a
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah, I'm like, so annoying. Making phone calls is the worst. Like, 2022, no, I shouldn't have to pick up the phone for anything.
Right.
Yeah,
The
so
worst is when you text someone and then they call you.
Ooh, it's like, no, I don't
And
want.
it's like, no, don't do that.
Someone, I saw some meme or something that someone said they were on a website and then it was like, there was a button that said contact us. And so they clicked on it, assuming they would open up an email, whatever
Right.
thing, or like whatever. They
Their
clicked
phone
contact.
started ringing?
Yeah. They clicked contact us and it started connecting them. It was like, ring, ring. They're like, no! Like, what? Like, no. Just no.
Oh, man. What's wrong with our generation?
You know,
I don't hate talking on the phone.
No,
Actually,
it's not that I hate talking on the phone. It's that I don't like inconveniencing other people. Because when people call me, usually I'm in the middle of doing something. Like, I'm not just sitting around, like, waiting
Yeah.
for my phone to ring. And so I'm usually in the middle of doing something, and then it's awkward because, I don't know, maybe I'm, like, I have food on the stove, or I'm, like, wiping a kid's butt or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm busy. Or, actually, usually what it is just that there's, like, kids screaming in the background, and
We have babies at home, right? We're not just wiping random people's butts.
well, I'm sure they know that. Anyway, yeah. So I guess I just worry about like if I'm to call someone, then I feel like, oh no, like I'm probably bothering them. And I actually have noticed like I've gone even. I've had to go back and forth with our doctor the last little while, and when they call, they ask that they're like, "Is now a good time?"
Right.
Which is like I think that's what you have to do nowadays. If you call someone, you have to ask if it's a good time because no one likes it.
Right.
Anyways, tangent. Okay, so those are the main things that I needed to change. I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit, though, to like the process of hiring somebody. It's like, how do you even go about that?
Yeah. Can I just backtrack
Yes.
to one thing? So when you were talking about setting things up in Jane, you had mentioned that you had opened up her schedule, but she was actually the one that opened up her own schedule.
Right.
Right. And I think that that's really important from like a contractor versus employee relationship. So one of the things that you have to be really careful of when you're hiring somebody to work for you, if you intend on hiring them to work as an independent contractor, there are certain conditions that need to be met to basically, satisfy that requirement that this person is in fact an independent contractor, right? Because and one of those things is that they have complete control over their schedule, right? So they can choose when they work, what hours they work. They're not required to show up at a clinic and stay there for these fixed hours, whether or not they have someone. Like, they have complete control over their schedule. And so when you're setting up your, subcontractor, that's one of the important things that you should have in there, right? So the other thing is supplying their own like tools and equipment, right? Which Heather does, right? Like, she provides her own massage table, her own linens, all of that stuff, right? And so it's important. It's really important. And this is something that I cover in more detail in my business and income tax course. But there's like 6 things that the CRA looks at, and you can get into a lot of trouble. Like, if you hire someone as an independent contractor, but the CRA comes in and they're looking at this person, and I'm not saying that the CRA would, but if they ever did, they came in and they looked at this person, like, well, based on the relationship that exists between the two of you, it seems like this person, even though you've said that they're an independent contractor, it looks like they're operating more like an employee than an independent contractor. And so then if that happens, there's usually back paid, like CPP and EI, that you have to remit for that employee, and then interest and penalties as well. And so it's really something that you should be aware of.
Right. Making sure you have things set up so that they are a contractor and not an employee.
Right.
Yeah. And so that is something I had to look at doing, was writing up a contract.
Yeah.
And so
that was fun.
Yeah, I was like, cool, now I have to pretend to be a lawyer. Like, what? And so, yeah, I was able to piece something together kind of based on past contracts I had. And also, you can actually look up a lot of stuff online. Right. And I tried to keep it pretty simple. Like, some contracts, it's like 40 pages long. It's like, why? Why is this a novel? Yeah. And so tried to still keep it pretty simple, but have all the required sections in there. And one thing that was really awesome, so I'm a member of MTAA, the Massage Therapy Association of Alberta, and one thing that comes with our liability insurance is a phone call to a lawyer. So we have access to a lawyer, and it's free. They can't, it was interesting. He said,
it's not free. Like, you're paying for it.
Okay, I'm paying for it, but I don't have to pay any additional fees.
Right.
To make these phone calls. So it was the first time I'd ever done that. And you can call about basically anything that you need legal advice on. It's just like a hotline. You talk to an actual lawyer. I thought maybe I'd talk to like the paralegal or like, I don't know, some receptionist or something, but it was actually a lawyer that I spoke to. Right. And he said, now we have to draw a line between, what did he say, advice and information. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I can't tell you what to do.
Because you initially wanted him to review the contract.
Yeah, that was my initial question. I was like, can I just like send this to you and you can review it and like fix it up, give me tips, whatever. And so they can't do that. I mean,
they can.
Could. I'd have to pay for that service. Right. Or there's other lawyers that will do that. But for that service that I am eligible for, it's just a phone call. Like, I don't get to send documents or anything like that. And so instead, what he was able to do is just give me advice on what things I should include, like what types of sections I should have. And so that was really helpful. So if you are a member of that association, or if you're a member of a different association, you may have access to something similar. So definitely something to look into, not even just for contracts, like lots of different reasons why you might want some legal advice. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that was kind of fun. So fun. It is kind of fun. Yeah, I guess the only other things that I wanted to chat about was just doing an interview, and like, it's really interesting being on the flip side of an interview. Yeah, right. But I tried to keep it casual. I mean, I know how it is to be on the other side, and so I wanted to keep it like not super formal and just get to know her. And
so one of the things, and maybe you're going to touch on this, but one of the things that's really common in the massage world is like having the person come and massage you, right? And you chose not to do that. How come?
Yeah, so often there's that 2-part massage, right? Sit down and then a hands-on portion. I decided to not do the hands-on portion because I always hated that as a massage therapist. And for a few reasons. One, you're just really nervous. Yeah. And so I feel like you don't really give your best treatment. Right. And yeah, they're just awkward. Right. And so I felt like at this time, she knows how to massage. Like she's probably
She went to school for
She
that.
went to school. Like she knows
Right.
what she's doing. I was more concerned about, what were her mannerisms like? Like was she polite? Was she kind? Like was she passionate about massage? Like I was more concerned about those things than if you could
Did
like
she have a third eye? Like, things like that.
third eye. And so, yeah, I haven't done the hands-on interview portion.
Right.
But I would like to get a massage from her eventually because I am going to be talking to my clients about her. And I still want to be able to give the honest truth about
Right.
what, like I want to be able to say, yeah, she's really good. I don't want to have to lie and say like, oh yeah,
Like,
she gives
oh,
an amazing massage.
she's
It's like,
the
I don't
worst.
even know. I mean, like, wouldn't that be crazy if I do get a massage from her? It's
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah.
this is terrible.
I'm sure she's fine.
I'm sure she's fine.
Right?
Like we've said before, you and I have gone for like hundreds of massages, maybe not hundreds. Well,
A lot.
probably like
Yeah.
a lot.
Right.
And so,
I've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of
yeah.
therapists.
And how many of those would you say were terrible? Like one, maybe
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
right? Other than that, like they're great.
Yeah. I had my first massage from a male therapist a couple weeks ago.
We should talk about that next episode. Male practitioners.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
You were so scared. You were hilarious. You're like, I don't know if I can get a massage from a man. And then you're like, maybe you should have a massage from him. And then you're like, maybe that's weirder. You're like getting so concerned. And I was like, calm down.
Yeah, it was
You're
honestly
funny.
one of the best massages I've ever had.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love him.
I love him. Oh my gosh.
There was something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, going back. So, going back to the hands-on massage, not the hands-on interview. So it's so funny. We talk about like, well, this person's been to school, so they're probably a half decent massage therapist, which I'm sure is right. So I had a job interview a couple months back where I had to come in and I had to do like a technical assessment, and so I spent an hour doing this like Excel test, and it was like
Did you love it? You love Excel?
oh, I loved it. I was so excited going
You're like,
into
you
it.
cry when it's done.
Yeah. I went into this test and I was like, I am going to murder this test. I'm going to do so amazing. And I did. I totally crushed it.
You're hilarious.
Anyways, that's all I had to say about that. Do we have anything else we want to talk about, or that's pretty much it?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So I don't know if this, hopefully there's been some helpful information in here. We have picked a date to record our course with Amy, and so we're really excited about that. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else we want to talk about, so okay.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys.